Welcome to the Explainer. So today we're unpacking a pretty wild modern paradox. Human isolation? It didn't just happen by accident. No, it evolved into a highly optimized global business. We've got more communication tools right in our pockets than any generation in history, right? But at the exact same time, we're facing this unprecedented epidemic of isolation. So let's dive right into the data and discover exactly how our disconnection literally became a product.
Okay, let's dive into this core mystery. How can we be more connected than ever, yet feel so incredibly alone? Just imagine, you're standing on a super crowded city street. There are literally thousands of people rushing past you, all living their complex, intricate lives. You're completely surrounded by humanity, yet it's entirely possible, and honestly incredibly common, to feel totally emotionally distant from every single person in that crowd. It's this profound mystery of our modern age. We've built these incredibly dense urban environments. We're stacked on top of one another in high-rises. But physical proximity, well, it simply hasn't translated into emotional closeness.
And the reason for that massive distance is actually pretty simple. Connection became digital. Over the last 2 decades, the whole epicenter of human interaction shifted dramatically. We kind of just moved away from the town squares, the local cafes, and those physical community hubs. Instead, modern interaction often looks more like a young adult sitting totally alone in a dark apartment. The average person now spends nearly 7 hours a day just looking at a screen. The room is completely silent, yet their brain is processing thousands of data points of other people's lives. We basically traded the messy, noisy reality of physical community for this silent, curated digital one.
And this brilliantly illustrates the crux of the issue. On one side, we've got digital interaction. We're talking short dopamine bursts, constant notifications, instant validation, and just this rapid-fire consumption of short-form content. It's highly stimulating for sure, but it's shallow. On the flip side, we have real connection. Now that requires emotional presence, vulnerability, and deep, sustained conversations. The harsh truth we're facing is that increasing our digital interaction doesn't actually bridge the gap of loneliness. Actually, it often just masks it. It hides a profound emotional emptiness behind a glowing screen, kind of tricking our brains into feeling social, while our actual everyday lives remain completely isolated.
Which brings us to a pretty chilling realization. Loneliness became profitable. Yeah, you heard that right. This isn't just some unfortunate side effect of technology. It's literally a foundational pillar of modern commerce. Once corporations realized that isolated people naturally seek comfort, distraction, and, well, a simulation of connection, a massive economic shift happened. Modern isolation stopped being viewed merely as a social problem, and it started being looked at as a wildly lucrative market opportunity. We are now living right in the middle of the loneliness economy, where your disconnection is actually someone else's primary revenue stream. So let's take a look at the pillars holding up this new world. We're talking about endless streaming subscriptions just to fill the silent hours. Food delivery apps that, let's be real, eliminate the terrifying prospect of small talk at the grocery store. We've got immersive gaming worlds offering substitute communities, dating apps that basically gamify romance, and just an endless array of virtual services. Now, individually, sure, these are just modern conveniences, but together, they form an entire ecosystem where corporations actively and aggressively monetize our preference to just stay inside, alone, rather than venturing out into the friction of the real world.
So, the crucial point here is understanding exactly how these platforms keep us trapped in this isolated loop. It's a highly sophisticated step-by-step business model. Step 1, they analyze user behavior with, honestly, terrifying precision, tracking every single click, every pause, every scroll. Step 2, they deploy advanced AI recommendation systems. These systems take all that behavioral data and predict exactly what piece of content will keep you engaged for just one more minute. And Step 3, the algorithms go to work to maximize your screen time, at all costs. The very architecture of these platforms is fundamentally designed to keep you hooked, scrolling, and ultimately isolated from the physical world around you.
Because in this digital ecosystem, attention became currency. Your time is quite literally money. When you're sitting alone, giving your undivided attention to a screen, you are generating measurable, tradable corporate currency for massive tech entities. Your isolation provides the raw material, which is your focused attention, that these companies then turn around and sell to advertisers. The longer you stay isolated and engaged with their platform, the richer they become. It's a fundamental shift in the global economy. The most valuable resource being mined today isn't oil or gold, it's human attention extracted directly from human isolation.
But, we really have to step back from the corporate balance sheets for a second.
And look at the profound hidden human cost here. Loneliness isn't just an economic metric. It is a serious, growing public health crisis. It deeply affects both our mental and physical health. Think about the real emotional reality behind those screens. We're talking about office workers who spend 8 hours a day on video calls but haven't had a real, unstructured conversation all week. Or university students feeling entirely isolated in packed dorm rooms. The chronic stress of this disconnection literally alters our biology. It increases the risk of depression, raises blood pressure, and deeply impacts our overall physical well-being.
Now, what's really interesting about this is how that human vulnerability translates back into staggering market growth. Take dating apps. They promise connection, but often just deliver an endless cycle of browsing. Streaming platforms have captured a massive share of our daily leisure time. Even the rise of therapy apps and paid online communities really highlights this desperate market demand to basically purchase the support structures that organic, localized communities used to provide for free. These specific industries are experiencing incredible financial momentum, and that momentum is fueled entirely by our societal disconnection.
Isolation fuels industries worth billions. I just want to let the sheer scale of that sink in for a moment. It is a multi-billion-dollar economy built entirely on the premise that you are sitting at home, by yourself, seeking digital comfort. When you really think about the weight of that data, it reframes almost everything about how we consume digital products today. We are essentially the architects of a modern society where being apart from one another is actually the most profitable configuration possible.
So how exactly did we get here? I mean, it's not like we all just suddenly decided to be antisocial overnight. Our modern ecosystem structurally isolates us. We've got the relentless, fast-paced city life that leaves us just way too exhausted to socialize. We have the incredible rise of remote work, which sure is highly convenient, but it totally erases the casual daily interactions of the office space. We're seeing a steep decline in participation in local community groups, we have the geographic sprawl of suburban isolation, and just an overall dramatic decrease in spontaneous, real-life interactions. The very infrastructure of modern life is basically designed to keep us in our own separate, highly efficient bubbles.
To summarize it simply, modern life changed human connection. Our daily routines have fundamentally rewired how we interact with one another. I mean, think about how many errands you can accomplish today without speaking to a single human being. You can bank, shop, work, date, and entertain yourself entirely through a piece of glass. We have systematically removed the organic points of contact that used to naturally weave a neighborhood or a society together. Frictionless convenience is the ultimate goal of modern technology, but it turns out that genuine human connection actually requires a little bit of friction to spark.
And because of that massive shift towards convenience, we lost presence. Picture a family dinner. Everyone is physically together, but the room is dead silent because they're all looking down at their individual phones. We've reached a point where the device in our hand, or even texting the person sitting directly next to us, has become infinitely more compelling than the living, breathing human sitting right across the table. They are physically present in the room, absolutely, but emotionally and cognitively, they are miles away, locked into their own highly personalized digital feeds. Let's move to how this builds, because we don't have to stay stuck in this loop. Breaking the cycle requires intentional action. We have to actively choose to seek out real conversations, the kind without a screen between us. It means organizing outdoor gatherings, exercising with others, nurturing genuine offline friendship, and actually showing up for local community events. It's about consciously opting back into the messy, uncurated, unalgorithmic real world.
And we have to remember this critical, truly empowering truth. Real connection cannot be automated. No matter how advanced AI recommendation systems become, and no matter how seamless our digital platforms get, they cannot replicate the warmth of a shared laugh, the physical comfort of a friend's presence, or the profound sense of belonging to a real, tangible community. Those things exist entirely outside the algorithm. But because the current economy is structured to keep us isolated and continuously clicking, this genuine connection won't just happen by accident anymore. It is something we must intentionally and aggressively pursue for our own well-being.
Which leaves us with a really powerful reality to reflect on. In a highly connected world, human connection became the rarest luxury. So take a look at your own habits today. Are you settling for the cheap, profitable substitute of digital interaction? Or are you investing in the rare luxury of true human presence? It might just be time to step out of the loneliness economy and start finding each other again.